People also play in Germany, and card games are also widespread here. Cards themselves already existed in ancient China and Korea in the 12th century. They also come to Europe via the Silk Road, India, and Arabia, where they were discovered in the 14th century, initially in Italy and France. Welcome to YD. Why do Germans do things the way they do? In Germany, there are typically two decks of cards that are used: the small 32 card Skat deck and the large 52 card Rummy deck, also with three jokers. A distinction is made between the German and French decks. The 23 card deck has the following card values: Ass, Ace, König, King, Dame, Queen, Bube, Jack, 10, 10, 9, 9, 8, 8, 7, 7. The 52 card pack also has the 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2. The suits in the French hand are Kreuz, clubs, Pik, spades, Herz, hearts, and Karo, diamonds. In the German hand, the colors vary from region to region but are often Eichel, acorn, Grün, green, Rot, red, and Schellen, bells. Instead of Queen and Jack, the German hand is called Ober and Unter. These are the German terms formerly used for Oberoffizier, senior officers, and Unteroffizier, non-commissioned officers, sergeants. Today only Offizier, officers, and Unteroffizier. Historically, the images of King, Queen, and Jack, or Ober and Unter, were often modeled on real or historical personalities. During the peasant wars, the army leaders of the rebels were sometimes printed. For the game we are looking at today, we need the small 32 card hand. It can also be played with a large hand, but the smaller cards are usually discarded. Mau Mau is a comparatively new game, probably known since the 1930s. The first written rules probably date back to 1958. The term Mau Mau could come from the Chinese and meaning nothing nothing, which would describe the aim of having no more cards in your hand. You can play Mau Mau with two or more people, very often with 3 to 5 players. If there are more players, you need a second deck. The aim of the game is to be the first to discard all your cards. If you still have cards in your hand at the end, you get penalty points. Each player plays on their own. If there are 4 players, the players sitting opposite each other sometimes play a little together. At the beginning, the cards are shuffled and dealt face down. Everyone gets 5 cards, sometimes 6 or 7, but everyone gets the same number. Then one card is placed face up in the center, and all other undistributed cards are placed next to it as a face down pile, also known as a talon. The player to the left of the dealer begins, and the turn continues clockwise. The player whose turn it is selects a suitable card from their hand to place on the face up pile. The following rules apply. Either the card value must match, for example, king on king or 10 on 10, or the suit must match, so clubs on clubs or diamonds on diamonds. If you cannot lay a card, you must draw a card from the face down pile. Depending on the house rule, it is then the next player's turn, or the player who drew the card may play the card if it matches. In our family, it was the next person's turn after the draw. There are 3 special cards. If a 7 is placed, this means draw 2. The player after the person who played the 7 must therefore draw 2 cards from the deck. However, if the person has a 7 themselves, they can lay it, and the next player must then draw 4 cards, and so on. Sometimes it happens that the person who already laid the 7 then has to draw 6 or 8 cards themselves. If an 8 is played, this means that the next player has to sit out. In a four-player game, the players sitting opposite each other may then pass the ace to each other. If a jack is placed, you can choose a color. Each jack can be placed on any card except another jack. Of course, not on an 8 if you had to sit out yourself. Sometimes there is an additional rule for one or another card. You should therefore find out exactly what the local rules are before the game. Whether you can lay directly after the draw or whether it is the next player's turn. Whether a 7 can be passed or whether the ace or 10, for example, have an additional meaning. You play round after round until one player has only one card left, at which point they must say last card to warn the others. If he forgets to do so, he must draw a penalty card. When the last card is played, the player ends the game by announcing Mao. If the last card is a 7, the next player must draw 2 cards more. If the last card is a jack, the player announces Mao Mao, and the penalty points of all players are doubled for this round. If all the cards have been drawn from the talon during the course of game, the top card from the face-up pile is laid out face up again, and the rest of the face-up pile is turned over, shuffled, and laid out as a new talon. The penalty points are counted as follows. The numbers count correct value from 7 to 10. The queen and king also count as 10. The ace counts as 11 and the jack counts 20 points. In this game, the points are often written down and totaled so that after 10 or 30 rounds, there is an overall winner at the end. The game is often played with families or friends, as everyone scores penalty points and everyone has a positive score. After a few rounds, the game is rarely played for money. At the end of a round, the penalty points could be paid out in cents to the winner for the round. Probably the best known variation of this game is Uno, which was developed around 1969 and uses its own cards. What is your favorite card game? Remarks, addition, and comments in the comments. Thank you for your attention. See you in the next video.